Okay, you're all set.
Thank you, Joanne, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the December 6th, 2023 meeting of the Danbury Planning Commission. We will open with a roll call. Mr. Chiocchio.
Here.
Ms. Hofstetter.
Here.
Mr. Sylvain.
Here.
Mr. Haas.
Here.
And Chairman Finaldi is here. Okay, we don't have to seat any alternates, which is good because we don't have any alternates, do we, Joanne? I don't think we do. Doesn't matter because we're all here. Okay. Distributed earlier this week, Commission members, were the minutes of the November 1st and November 15th meetings. Unless there's any questions or discussion on those minutes, I will entertain a motion to accept them.
Mr. Chairman, may I, before that happens, may I just interject that I was not at one of those meetings, so I can't vote on that particular one. I think it was November 1st.
Okay, let's do them separately. Let's do the November 1st, 2023 meetings minutes first.
I'll make a motion to approve the November 1st minutes. Excuse me.
Thank you. How's your cat feel about this whole thing? All right.
Very positively.
We
I think
need,
I think the cat seconded.
yeah, me too.
All right.
I will if that's okay.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to accept the minutes of the November 1st meeting. Is there any further discussion? As Ms. Hofstetter mentioned, she will abstain. Other than that, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed. The minutes of the November 1st meeting are accepted. We will move on to the minutes of the November 15th meeting. Is there any comments or discussion on those minutes? And if not, I'll entertain a motion to accept them.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Helen, second by Mr. Sylvain. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The minutes of the November 15th meeting are accepted as well. Let the record show our next regular meeting is scheduled for January 3rd of 2024. And before we move on, I will read the virtual meeting intro. This meeting of the Danbury Planning Commission is being held on Zoom as a virtual meeting. Even though this meeting is a virtual meeting, members of the public and interested parties continue to have the opportunity to participate in the meeting in a couple of different ways. You can participate via Zoom and see the audio and the video, or you can call in by phone and participate via audio only. Please be aware that we may have to mute your microphone or telephone to avoid an echo or some other background noise. Instructions on how to participate in the meeting appear on the City of Danbury website, and all of the documents and materials that apply to the matters to be discussed during this meeting, including the agenda, are also available on the City of Danbury website. As always, if you have any questions regarding how to participate in the meeting, please contact the City of Danbury Planning and Zoning Department. As a reminder, the entire meeting will be posted on and can be seen on the City of Danbury website. We will follow the posted agenda as per standard practice. If prior to the meeting, any questions or comments on agenda items were submitted via email to the Planning and Zoning Department, those comments will be read during the appropriate portion of the meeting. Finally, please remember that technology glitches do sometimes occur. Please be patient if that happens. We'll move right to our public hearings agenda. As indicated in the agenda, ladies and gentlemen, the application that was submitted by JAR Associates LLC has been rescheduled and will be re-advertised and re-noticed for the January 17th, 2024 meeting. So if you are attending for the matter of JAR Associates LLC, again, that matter has been rescheduled. It will be re-advertised, re-noticed, and we will hear that matter on January 17th, 2024. With that said, the first and only public hearing we will hear this evening is as follows. Guy and Roberta Montanari, property owners, application for special exception, site plan approval for 1, petroleum distribution, section 6B 2B6, 2, petroleum storage, section 6B 5B1, and 3, business office, section 6B 2A4 for Casey Energy, applicant in the IG-80 zone, 82 Payne Road, M12008, special exception number 797. I will now read the legal notice. Legal notice is hereby given that the Planning Commission of the City of Danbury will hold public hearings commencing at 7:30 p.m. on Wednesday, December 6, 2023, and a web-based meeting hosted on Zoom to consider the following matter. Guy and Roberta Montanari, property owners, application for special exception site plan approval for 1, petroleum distribution, section 6B2B6, 2, petroleum storage, section 6B5B1, and 3, business office, section 6B2A4 for KC Energy applicant in the IG-80 zone, 82 Payne Road, M12008, special exception number 797. Copies of these applications are on file in the Planning and Zoning Office for public inspection. Parties and interested citizens shall have an opportunity to be heard at this time. Agenda to be posted will include instructions on how to access the Zoom meeting and application materials and view the meeting in real time on YouTube. Arnold D. Finaldi Jr., Chairman, posted on city website and town clerk's office on November 20th, 2023, published in News Times on November 24th, 2023, and December 21st, 2023, purchase order number 2024-8. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of this application? Attorney Beecher.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. I represent KC Energy, the applicant and prospective purchaser of this particular property. Here with me tonight are Dinas Verbickas, the project engineer, Shane Casey, I believe, maybe under Suzanne, and Mike Brown, both officers of KC Energy. We've received a number of city reports today or within the last couple of days, and there's still a couple of reports that we're waiting for. So tonight we'll introduce the project, but obviously this hearing is going to need to be continued until January 3rd so that we have the opportunity to review and respond appropriately to the comments we've received so far. KC Energy is a family-owned and operated business. Shane and Mike are third generation in this business. KC Energy was started by their grandfather in Ridgefield back in 1949. They have 6 delivery trucks in Ridgefield, and they currently plan to have 5 or 6 delivery trucks at this particular location. They also recently purchased another family-owned business in New Milford, which was Marandola Fuel. This particular project site, 82 Payne Road, is owned by Guy and Roberta Montanari. They own the residence there, and Mr. Montanari also operated a car and truck repair business in the garage that's on this particular site. Before I talk more specifically about this particular site, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the neighborhood itself. The Danbury-Bethel town line runs right down the middle of Payne Road. The properties on the Danbury side of the road on Payne Road are all zoned IG-80, which is obviously the heavy industrial zone for the city of Danbury. The Bethel properties on the opposite side of Payne Road are zoned single-family residential. The uses on the Danbury side of the road include next door at 84-86 Payne Road is the Hocon gas facility, where they have a truck depot, a warehouse, and a propane or petroleum distribution facility under the same Danbury zoning regulations that we're here on tonight. Their building's approximately 10,000 square feet, so it's a bit bigger than what we've proposed here. But it is a similar operation to what we're proposing, and it is right next door. 50-56 Payne Road is the materials and contractors yard for Greenway Industries, which, as you probably know, is a paving company. 60 Payne Road is an auto repair facility called the Car Guys. 50 Payne Road is also a contractor's yard, which I think is operated by Tinker Excavating. And 44 Payne Road is also a truck and storage yard for Nijang Pools. Leahy's Fuels also has a similar type of facility over on Old Sherman Turnpike, which runs right behind these properties on Payne Road. And Earth Movers and Iapaluccio's contractors' yards are also located over there right behind these industrial properties on Payne Road. So clearly this proposal and proposed use on this site fits right in with the industrial uses on Payne Road as well as on Sherman Turnpike behind this property, so this part of Danbury. With respect to this particular site, the site's 1.65 acres. We intend to renovate and convert the buildings for the use as an office and a facility for storage and distribution of home heating oil and propane, and to add the storage addition, which would house furnaces, furnace parts, burners, piping, water heaters, similar home energy products and needed items. The non-conforming residential use here on this site would cease. That would be where the office would be. Vehicle repairs would continue in the existing garage, but those repairs would just be for Casey vehicles. The goal here with this project is to take the existing buildings and the existing site improvements and continue to use them and to minimize site demolition, excavation, and filling and grading. The existing home is just 2,163 square feet, which, as I said, will be converted to office space. And the approximately 4,600 square foot addition will be added directly off the back of the office building. Maintaining the home pretty much as is means that the front of the site will look a lot like a single family home that it does now, which in terms of how it will look from the road makes it at least consistent in appearance with our single family home neighbors across the street. As I said, the current plan is to have 5 or 6 delivery trucks here. However, our site plan shows planning for 10 delivery vehicles. Therefore, with 10 truck drivers and 1 employee in the warehouse building, we need 11 parking spaces pursuant to the regulations for that facility. In addition, because of the square footage of the office building, we need 7 more spaces pursuant to the required calculation in the regulations. So that's a total of 18, and then we'll show 10 spaces for the actual trucks that will be making deliveries. And if we don't quite get there, we'll reduce that number slightly lower than 10. Generally speaking, this is a small operation, which makes it fairly unobtrusive in the neighborhood and from any traffic perspective. Dinas, why don't you take this opportunity to generally go through some of the site details, if you would?
Sure will. For the record, Dinas Verbicus, professional engineer, Tharkel Engineering Group, here on behalf of the applicant and here to present our proposed modifications to the site to allow the use of the site as proposed. If I may, can I share the screen with you folks?
Sure.
Go ahead. Oh, you got it. Okay.
Okay, thank you. And I guess my scan didn't come up too colored or colorful, but what I've got in front of you here is a copy of the survey map. And for orientation purposes, Payne Road is on the right side of your screen. The ranch style home would be the first building that is next to Payne Road. Going to the left across the screen, about 2/5 of the way in, there's the automotive repair building that exists on the property. And then further to the left, which on this particular map is the west. It's basically broken gravel and or pavement. Excuse me, broken pavement and or newer pavement, the newer pavement being along the southerly portion of the property and entirely in the front of the property. The site's been utilized as a repair facility and you know, truck storage and so on since the mid 80s. And we've got photographs that we can put on the screen from Google Earth if you'd wish to see, but shows from a real fuzzy photograph from the early 80s up until 2023, and it shows that for the most part it's been pretty much the same use and same condition throughout the years. The driveway is shaded in here on the south side of the property. It's a fairly steep driveway as it exists. As you enter in off of the site, it's about 13% right at the intersection with the road, and steepens up to 15% with an average grade from the road edge to about 100 feet in of about 11 to 12%. So we've got a bit of a challenge to work in the grades here, but on the bright side, this site has been operating and having vehicles come and go on this driveway since the 80s. So it shows that it can be done. I'll scroll down now to our proposed site plan. And if first thing you'll note, it looks kind of the same, but a little bit more organized. Again, the orientation of the site, Payne Road is on the right-hand side of the screen. North is facing up. We first have in this area here where I'm indicating the existing home, which portions of which will be removed in the rear to make way for this addition, which is about 3,000 square feet in footprint size, with full height access from the rear of the building, overhead doors, and then some double doors on the south side of the building, allowing access to a mezzanine area. So the total addition is about 4,500 square feet. We have organized some parking spaces, making first use of an area that we can level off for the doorways. We've proposed our handicap parking space. As an alternate, we can easily place a handicap parking space down in the back here as well. So we have options, but on this particular layout, we have handicap fairly close to where person doors would be located, as opposed to an overhead door and a person door. Along the north property line, we've got 8 parking spaces proposed here. And along the south property line, we've got room for another 10 parking spaces. And then you'll note behind this existing repair facility building, we've got room for 4 delivery trucks. And then we've got another 2 spaces here for delivery trucks, another 2 spaces here for delivery trucks, and then we've got another couple of spaces available to us along the north property line as well. Our trash facility would be located in the rear of the site. It's currently located kind of in this area, so we're pushing that to the way back. Our loading space would also be located in the back here as well. So part of the petroleum process and storage and delivery would take place centrally on the property towards the rear third of the property. We've got 2. I'm gonna say it. I don't want to say we've got 2 hot dog shaped structures located to the rear of what would be our access and parking area. We currently have these, and these would be for the propane storage, both 30,000 gallon in size. So they are roughly 10 feet in diameter by about 55 feet in length. When we laid this out, we originally laid it out, and as it's shown here, for these tanks to be located above ground. But in speaking with our client, they are now of the thought to put these underground. So the position will be the same, but the tanks themselves will be set down underground. To the east of the tanks, we've got a concrete pad for our vehicles to I guess, transfer fuels either on the delivery end to deliver the propane to these storage tanks. And similarly, to the east of this pad, you would deliver fuel oil to a vertical storage tank here, just 12 feet in diameter, and it's a 20,000 gallon tank. So that would be about 24 feet tall when all is said and done. However, the full height of this tank won't be as obtrusive as one would think, because the tank is set down in a depressed concrete enclosure, which serves as a containment dike as required by code. So access to the site would continue via the existing driveway, although we would widen it out on the north side and narrow it a bit on the south side. Vehicles would come in and circulate around in a anti-clockwise fashion throughout the site, as they currently circulate through the site. I'll now look to share my the grading utility plan, if I may. Oops. Come back. Please bear with me. Okay. So here's our grading utility plan. So it is our intention to soften the driveway grades to the degree possible to allow us to continue have access, but with a flatter landing at Payne Road. The driveway would then steepen up and then level off as it currently levels off in front of this repair facility building. It's important to note that this building has 3 overhead doors that face out toward Payne Road. So we need to create a low spot in the driveway in front of the building so as to divert water in and around the front face of the building without water going in, rainwater going into the building. So we've shaped the driveway to do just that. The property is currently served by a septic system and an on-site well. Septic system is located for the most part in this vicinity behind the existing home. The existing well is located here. You can see perhaps better with this well radius, or protective well radius of 75 feet. So Payne Road has, since the initial construction of the home and the garage, has now a sanitary sewer line that runs along it. That sanitary sewer there's an agreement with the town of Bethel that the properties on Payne Road may utilize the sanitary sewer services in Payne Road, and to that end, we are proposing to do that. But because our buildings and structures are all lower than the road grade, we're proposing to run our sanitary wastes, all domestic wastes. There's no need for oil, water separators, or anything of the like. So it's, again, just domestic wastes, and we'll run that to a pump station located generally here in the parking area, and then route it up to a receiving manhole on the property, would then flow by gravity into the main in Payne Road. And we recently received comments from the town of Bethel asking for a little bit more detail, but it's all workable. Everything can be worked out. Unfortunately, Payne Road in this area of the city of Danbury does not have municipal water available to us. So we are proposing to continue to utilize the existing well on site, and utilize it in a manner in which it has been utilized since the 50s. Or with respect to stormwater management and stormwater runoff from the site, though the site at one point in time was, for all intent and purposes, I'd say about 60% impervious. We have based our calculations on current conditions, which have, again, just as if you recall, asphalt in the front area and along the southern property line. So we made our assumption that only that is paved and impervious, with the lion's share of the broken pavement and millings we're assuming is not fully paved. So by calculation, it shows that we would be increasing our stormwater runoff, but to facilitate that, we have proposed an underground stormwater management system located in the farthest reaches on the west of the property. This will be a subsurface system, like you've seen on many site developments. And this stormwater management system will facilitate the 25-year storm and will discharge to a level spreader, which runs almost the entire width of the property, should the flows exceed the design year storms. I'll share with you now our landscaping plan. Landscaping was prepared by A2 Land Planning. That's Abigail Adams. She's well-versed in the city of Danbury with respect to landscaping, and she has proposed that we maintain the front yard of the property in its current state, so that it views as you're passing by as a residential property, so there'd be no visible changes to that. Then as you enter into the site, she's proposing some landscaping on the green areas that we've proposed alongside of the proposed addition. And that'll help change the appearance of the site by adding a little bit of buffering to the existing repair building that's located on site. And then there's a whole host of plantings along in and around the parking spaces on a northerly property line, in and around the parking spaces on a southerly property line, and along the northern boundary of the property. So pretty intensive landscape plan. And the remainder of the sheets are erosion controls and detail sheets. What I'd like to share with you, though, because we've got it, and because you're probably interested, it would be the appearance of the proposed building. So I'm going to go and look to share the architectural renderings as well. If I could find those, that'd be great. There we go. Is that popped up on your screen?
Yes, it is.
Terrific. Okay, although I think I got these backwards on the plan, but So as we look at this drawing, um, this bottom elevation or bottom depiction of the building depicts the existing home on the right-hand side of the structure. And then you'll note a lower metal building tucked in behind the existing ranch-style home. And the intention is to match floor elevations to the degree possible with the basement of the existing home. So this view that we're looking at is standing on the south property line, looking northward. This next view would be standing on the north property line, looking southward. And then this is the rear view. And as I had noted in my presentation, we do have an overhead door that's proposed and a person door located immediately to the left. Got some isometrics as well, which should help give a better understanding of what this structure will look like as well. Again, in this view, we've got the home and Payne Road along the right side. This metal structure, you'll note, is tucked in completely behind the ranch home. Similarly, from this view shed, you can see where this metal structure is tucked in and lower than the roof line of the existing home. And we've even got a little bit of the existing automotive repair building indicated on this view shed as well. And we've got some additional views from above, from different angles. And I think, as always, a picture helps tell a better story than me chatting along. So at this point, I think I'm finished with my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have, or I can defer back to Mr. Beecher, and he can continue on as well.
Commission members, any questions for Dinas at this point?
I got one.
Go ahead, Mr. Sylvain.
No, it's Kevin.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kevin. Go ahead, Mr. Haas. My apologies.
The space between the two buildings there for the tractor trailer to get in and deliver propane and oil looks kind of tight. Is it not?
Yeah, so we've run our truck turning templates throughout. It's a good observation, but the delivery trucks can make it into the site and around the back and out of the site without any issues. And we also have not only run the larger delivery trucks, but also the smaller SU-30s or type of trucks that would be used for deliveries to customers. And as a final option, also we've run the template of the Danbury hook and ladder truck, firefighting, basically the largest truck they've got, and that can make it through the site without issue as well.
Okay.
Mr. Haas, that was one of the comments in the staff report, so we're going to actually be providing more information on that to illustrate it for you.
Okay.
Correct. Thank you, Tom.
Any other questions for Dinas?
Ellen does.
Sorry, I don't have her on. Go ahead, Helen. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I was on mute. So I have two questions, I think. So one of them is the office is in the front house. You have an addition going on in the back. What goes on in that addition? Because I'm not sure it was clear to me.
No, good question. I'm looking at my notes and I'm thinking to myself, well, I forgot to mention that. So the addition and the lower level of the existing home will all be used for storage. As you might imagine, with a business like this, not only fuel deliveries but also service providers. The company provides service to their customers with respect to furnaces, boilers, and other heating and cooling equipment elements. So the storage would be taken up by all parts that would be required to service their customers.
Yeah, including piping and water heaters and all the things that a standard home energy contractor would provide in services to your home.
So Mr. Chairman, if I continue, there's an opening in the back for trucks. So what kind of trucks would go in there? I mean, how big are they, and have they been accounted for in terms of, the egress or ingress and the circulation within?
Those would typically be the box trucks delivering those types of goods for the company. The bigger trucks that might come on site are really going to be the tanker trucks that are delivering either propane or home heating oil for those storage tanks.
Will there be room for the box trucks to go around, tanker trucks? And I don't know about stacking of those trucks, the tankers. Would there be more than one? And, do we anticipate issues of circulation of those two types of activities going on together?
No, good question. But in speaking with KC Energy representatives, they had indicated that as far as oil delivery, heating fuel oil, they anticipate one tanker truck a day. And with respect to propane deliveries, they might get up to two tanker trucks per day. As far as box truck deliveries, you might get a couple of box truck deliveries a day, but it's not an everyday occurrence.
Okay.
So with respect to the fuel deliveries, they would deliver not at the same time. And if they were to deliver at the same time, there's plenty of room on site for vehicles to stack should that be required.
Okay, and would that pertain to also the trucks that would be filling up to deliver, because you have that going on as well. So there's a lot of activity. So I'm just trying to figure out if there's going to be any conflicts there. And that leads me to my final question, which was that there's an operation plan, I guess, to be presented at some point or shared somehow. And would some of this be, hopefully, would it be included in terms of timing and logistics of circulation of these trucks?
Yeah, we can share that at the next meeting. In terms of the KC delivery trucks that would be leaving the site to go to homes to deliver propane or petroleum, again, the current plan is for 5 or 6 trucks. We're showing up to 10. Those trucks make only 1 or 2 trips out per day. So, and they also would have the ability, obviously, if a tanker truck is on site, to wait until that's done before they go, even if they need to, I should say, as opposed to being able to circulate their way out. So there's some internal control on that side of the coin. But again, it's limited trips out for those vehicles. And that's important from a traffic standpoint too, but we'll give you some more detail.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Helen. I have a question about, okay, Bob, you go first, then I go. You go ahead.
Okay, just to follow up on the trucks question. So you said 5 or 6 trucks in the Danbury location. So that 5 or 6 is split between petroleum and propane, 2 or 3 of each, I assume.
Yes.
And then you also mentioned that, so they have a service component for the business. Presumably there's service vans or those types of trucks. Are those going to be housed on site, and how many do you expect of those? Or are those the type that the serviceman takes home and aren't stored on site?
You know, I don't know the answer to that. We didn't cover that part of it in our conversation this week, but if Mike or Shane are on, they might want to weigh in on that.
Hi, hopefully you can hear me. This is Shane Casey. Yes, what you said is accurate. Our service department works on an on-call schedule, a rotating on-call schedule. So, besides maybe one spare van, which wouldn't necessarily need to be stored there, the service technicians bring their vans home with them every night.
Okay, thank you.
Attorney Beecher, could you just identify who was just speaking again, just for the record to make sure?
Yes, that's Shane Casey, who's the president and CEO of Casey Energy.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Bob, did you have another question?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. I had a question, and again, Attorney Beecher or Dynas, if you'd prefer that this be postponed till later, but it has to do with a letter from the City of Danbury Fire Marshal dated December 4th. I'm just a little confused. Maybe you could clarify it. Looking at this letter, access to this site by fire apparatus could be impacted by the initial grade from Payne Road exceeding 11%. In addition, the grade continues at a greater than 10% for the initial 140 feet of the driveway. This grade could impact the operation of aerial apparatus being used on the proposed addition, as well as the existing single-family dwelling, as it is greater than, et cetera, et cetera. Is the concern from the fire marshal access during the course of construction for the addition, or is the grade issue an issue that will stay there because they just simply can't get fire apparatus all the way back to where the fuel oil and the propane tanks are? I'm just not exactly clear on what issues the grade presents during the course of construction and then when it's all done.
Yeah, and we just received that within the last couple of days ourselves, and so we're still analyzing that, and Dynas is reviewing the plan to see if some additional grading work can be done. So we're going to try to get the answer to your question, as well as to see if we've got some solutions that we can offer in response to that, as well as comments from Rob Barone and staff. So
thank you.
We're asking if we can table your question.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to get it on the record, and thank you. We'll go from there. Thank you for that. Back to you, Attorney Beecher.
That's all we have for this evening, Mr. Chairman, unless Mike or Shane want to offer anything else. But as I said at the beginning, I think the best thing to do at this juncture is for us to go through all the comments we received and respond appropriately, hopefully well in advance of the next meeting for all of you.
Okay. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application? Anyone else in favor? Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application? Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Anyone in opposition? Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Ally, as we look at this application, I know that we're waiting for traffic. I know that. I think we're waiting for engineering. Couple of other things. Is that it, Ally, or is there other stuff I'm missing here?
Yes, that's correct. Traffic engineer and the engineering department are still reviewing the plans. And I will circle back with the fire marshal office regarding your question, Mr. Chairman, with the grade issues. And I think that is it. And we are awaiting revisions from the applicant.
Okay. Very good. Commission members, anything else for the applicant for this evening? As it was mentioned earlier, we will be continuing this public hearing. Anything else? Okay, unless there's any other questions, I'll entertain a motion to continue this public hearing into our next meeting. Is there a motion to that effect?
Mr.
I'll make the
Chairman,
motion to continue.
All right, let's say Mr. Kiokio made the motion and Ms. Hofstadter seconded the motion. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Have a Merry Christmas, everyone.
Oh, you too,
Thank
please.
you.
So, yes.
Thank you all.
Thanks, folks. Okay, so the matter of Guy and Roberta Montanari will be continued at our next meeting. Okay, looking at our agenda. There's nothing under continuation of public hearings, nothing under old business for discussion of possible action. And mercifully, we have no renewals, referral. We have no referrals this evening. That's some tricky referrals. All right. Under new business, commission members, you'll see some items we have coming up. Sugar Hollow Associates on January 3rd. A couple of other things. Under correspondence, you'll make a note of our meeting schedule for 2024. Please note your calendars accordingly. And then there's some items for reference only for, again, things that will be coming up. A lot of floodplain permits and various other things. Ally, am I missing anything? Where'd she go?
Sorry, my mute wasn't working.
Okay.
I believe that is all.
Good. See, Ally, if I screw up, I'm going to blame you. Just being, you kind of have to. Anyway, anything else, commission members? If there's no other matters to be brought before the planning commission, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I
Well,
just want to say a
everybody-
big thank you to Sharon for her service.
Oh, my goodness, yes. Oh, my goodness.
You'll see her before she leaves, definitely.
Okay, thank you. I want to make sure we prepare an appropriate tribute. So thank you for letting me.
Absolutely.
And Ally and Jen, let me know when Sharon's last meeting is going to be, so I don't miss that one. But
Last
Yeah,
day
I
is
think it's-
February
it's-
29th.
Well, yeah, we'll have a retirement party for her, likely that last Thursday. But she'll be presenting the CIP to the first meeting in February, and that will likely be her last meeting.
okay, all right. Well, listen, folks, I think we had a decent 2023. Thank you all. A lot of work, a lot of stuff, but
Yes, good work by you guys. Yep.
and look forward to a good 2024 for everybody. So if I don't talk to any of you, have a great holiday, and we'll reconvene in early January.
Same at
And to
you.
you.
Thank you.
Okay.